Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine and this is my season now. I'm back with the word for you guys, right? So of course, y'all know like during the week, I be praying, and just seeking God on y'all behalf to see what it is he has to say for you. So and this is what God revealed to me, right? So this is going to be Joshua chapter, I guess I'll start reading like in chapter 3. So this is talking about the children of Israel. They came out of Egypt. First they were in slavery. God delivered them from being slaves and brought them to the wilderness. And the wilderness was the place between the old them and in getting to their promised land. So God is like, hey, you made some progress. You're not exactly where you was, but you ain't quite made it there yet, right? So I thank God that we are transitioning right now, right? God has been speaking to me about transition. So chapter 3, it says, then Joshua rose early in the morning and they set out from Acacia Grove and came to the Jordan. So the Jordan is a river that separated them from the promised land. So I know, like, okay, let me tell y'all something. I've been feeling some type of way. Like, I've been feeling pressure in my spirit these past couple of days, and I'm not really understanding why. So the thing is, when we feeling some type of way and we don't understand, we ain't in tune with the spirit to know what's going on. It'll make you feel like you're doing something wrong or you should give up, right? But that's not what it is. God said, keep going, keep going, keep walking. He said, because you're crossing over into everything that I have for you, right? So, okay. So they came to the Jordan and all the children of Israel were laying there before they crossed over. So verse 2 says it was after 3 days. After the third day, something happened. After the third day, something happened. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. It's something significant about 3 days right now in the name of Jesus Christ. I don't know what it is you're going through, but God said after 3 days, after 3 days, He's going to move. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I did a live on my YouTube channel 3 days ago. When I got off that live, and I put my laptop on the charger. I want y'all to know that for 3 days my laptop did not work. It did not cut on, period. 3 whole days I thought something was wrong with my laptop. I was planning on taking it back to Walmart. Keep in mind, I only had this laptop for 1 month. I'm like, nothing should be wrong with it. It's brand new. So y'all, I've been trying to cut it on every day, every day, every day. But today, y'all, I opened the laptop, I pressed the power button, nothing happened. But when I went in the bathroom and I brushed my teeth and everything, I came back like the laptop was on. Do you hear me? There is something significant about 3 days. That thing that you thought was dead on the third day, he said on the third day, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna bring life to it. So I don't know exactly what it is that you're going through and or what you need God to move on. But can I tell you that if you believe in Him for 3 days, for 3 days, He said, I'll bring new life to it. For 3 days. On the third day, Jesus Christ was resurrected. That means that death couldn't hold him. Death couldn't hold him. He said, I went and I kicked death butt, and I'm back. He rose up on the third day. I keep saying resurrection. Today I woke up at exactly 12:37. When I see 37, I think of resurrection, right? God knows exactly how to speak to us. Can I tell you that people want to know how to hear the voice of God? God ain't complex. He ain't complicated. He'll meet you on the level that you understand. He'll meet you right where you at. Only thing you got to do is invite him in. I woke up at exactly 12:37. When I see 37, I think of resurrection, right? Because in Ezekiel 37, that's where God told the prophet to prophesy to the dead bones, to the dead dry bones. He said, I want you to say something to this situation that looks like it has no life. And guess what? He started speaking the word of God to those things, and those things got up. Those things started breathing, those things started moving, right? In 3 days. There's new life in 3 days. 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 So in Joshua chapter 3, it says, then Joshua rose early in the morning, and they set out from Acacia Grove and came to the Jordan. So the Jordan is a river that separated the children of Israel from their promised land. God said, I don't know what that thing is that's separating you from the place that I have promised to you, but I got good news. I got good news on today. I love to bring you guys good news. I love to bring you guys good news. I love to give you guys hope, right? God is living. He is with us. He knows exactly what you're going through when you're going through it, right? So if you're in this place where you can kind of like see where God is taking you, but there's something in your way, I came to tell you that God is about to move. God is about to move. God, this is exactly what we are in right now. This is the word of God is living. I'm not just picking a verse out of the Bible and just talking to you about it. No, this is something that I sat in a secret place with God, and He told me. He said, this is what we're going through, right? So again, I'm gonna start in Joshua chapter 3 verses. I start back at verse 1. Then Joshua rose early in the morning, and they set out from Acacia Grove and came to the Jordan, the Jordan River. He and all the children of Israel laid there before they crossed over. So it was after 3 days. Do you hear me? After 3 days. Wow, God is so good. After 3 days that the officers went through the camp, and they commanded the people, saying, so on the third day they was laying at this place. They was laying at this place, at the place of this thing that looked at impossible. There was this river that was flowing, and they was like, listen, on the other side of this is everything that God promised me. So God said, I'm about to show up in this place. He said, I'm about to show up right here so you would know that I am with you, y'all, because the children of Israel were going into a promised land, into their promised land. It's ours. I need somebody to say that this land belongs to me. This land belongs to me. See, there's a promise over your life. God said that I have called you for a time such as this. See, you could have been born, years and years ago back in the wilderness, right? But God said that now is your time, right? The children of Israel wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, and it wasn't even supposed to be like that. The trip from Egypt to the promised land was only 11 days, but the people refused to go. They refused to go when God told them to go. But God said, I'm giving you another chance. I'm doing something new with this new generation. Your ancestors didn't make it. Your ancestors didn't make it. They failed me. But God said, I'm doing something new with this new generation. Will you do it? Will you go? When you see the presence of God moving, will you move? God said that we are the chosen generation, the generation that He chose to go into the promised land. See, something happened. The first time that God told the children of Israel to go into the promised land, they was like, look, it's giants over there. They brought back some food from the promised land. It was a big old grapes and fruit. They was like, look, the fruit of this land is too big. The fruit of this land is too big. I don't want to go. I'm scared. Right? But I came to tell somebody I like big fruit. I like big fruit. I like big grapes, big apples, whatever, oranges. I like big fruit. God, send me to my promised land. Send me to my promised land. I ain't scared. God said I need a generation who ain't scared. God said He called you because you a thug. Don't think you lived a thug life all these years and think that God can't use you. He said, no, I called you because you a thug. I called you because you ain't scared. Can I tell y'all that it was a time that I lived my life, I wasn't scared to go to jail. I wasn't scared. I just wasn't scared. I wasn't scared of nothing. I'm out here doing all type of stuff. I just wasn't scared. God said, I called you because you weren't scared. See, your mom and your daddy, they were scared to do the things that I called them to do. But I need somebody who ain't scared. Y'all, let me tell y'all a funny story. I'm gonna try not to make this video long, right? But last year, I was about to join the military, the Air Force to be exact, because I thought that I heard God telling me to go to the military. I thought that, like the same way God speak to me through His word or just speak directly to my spirit, I'm like, I heard God tell me to go to the military. So I went and talked with a recruiter. The recruiter was like, hey, you dropped 40 pounds, and I have to get a tattoo removed off my hand. He was like, if you do that, you going to the military. So I started doing exactly what the recruiter said. Y'all, I dropped 20 whole pounds. And then out of nowhere, COVID-19 came and they stopped my recruitment process. The recruiter stopped answering the phone or whatever the case may be. But God said that was a test. See, God had to test me to see, will I go? And I was willing to go because I knew that if God called me to it, He was going to see me through it. I wasn't scared. I came to tell somebody that you can't be scared of where God is sending you. He said, because I'm with you. I am with you. I am with you. He said, yeah, you thought I was trying to recruit you to the military here on earth, but he said, I'm really recruiting you to this army that I'm building, my kingdom. Here, shut up. My kingdom. God is so good. God said, I really need you to be a sergeant. He said, I'm putting you a commander over many of this military. God has said, I'm calling forth my army. God is calling forth his army here. He said, I tested you to see would you move when you seen the presence of God moving. And God said, I can use that. I can use that. I can use that. Some people confused about which way to go, but just start out going the way that that you feel God is telling you to go, and he'll realign your footsteps. It's okay. It's okay. God said, I'm going to use your obedience. Your ancestors, they were scared to go into the promised land, but let me tell you something. I'm going to ride for mine. I'm going to go where God is telling me to go, and I don't care who don't like it. I don't care how nobody feels, because what's mine is mine. What's mine is mine. And when it's time for me to go up and take it, it's time for me to go up and take it. And I'm here today to let you know that you need to be ready. You need to be ready. I don't need you to get ready. Let me tell y'all something. Okay, y'all listen. Verse 2, so it was after 3 days. After 3 days, God is gonna move. After 3 days, something is gonna change. So I need you to be on all 10. I need you to be on your toes. Because in 3 days, the officers went through the camp, and they commanded the people, saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, and the priests, the Levites bearing it, then you shall set out from your place and go after it. Listen, I need y'all to listen. I know some of the words of the Bible can be confusing, but I'm here to break it down for you. Okay, so some of the people who were over the children of Israel on the third day, they told them, listen, when you see the ark of the covenant of the ark of the covenant of the Lord is symbolic of the presence of God, right? See, here today we have the presence of God in our spirit. Back then they had like this physical covenant that represented God. I hope y'all can hear me. So they said in 3 days, the officers went through the camp, and they told them, hey, when you see God's presence move, I want you to move. I want you to move. It says, set out from your place and go after it. So that means you have to move. You have to move. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You have to move. When you see God moving, I want you to start moving, right? And then it says, let's see. Okay, verse 5. And Joshua said to the people, sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. Joshua prophesied to them, hey, get ready. Tomorrow, God is about to do something. God is about to do something tomorrow. Then Joshua spoke to the priest, saying, take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord and cross over before the people. We're moving. We're moving. These last couple of days, I've been feeling pressure in my spirit, and I didn't know what it was about. But God said, you're transitioning. You're moving. Sometimes that pressure make you feel like you're doing something wrong, but God said, keep moving. He said, you're passing through. You're going through something. You're going through the thing that's separating you from the promised land. See, you ain't just been wandering in the wilderness all this time for nothing. There was a promise attached to it. I promised you something. When I came and got you out of slavery, when I delivered you from the things that was holding you, God said there was a promise. There was a promise. There was a place. God said there's a land flowing with milk and honey. It was promised to our ancestors. They were scared to go and get it. But can I tell you that I'm the chosen one? We are the chosen generation that will live. We will see. God said you will live to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Yeah, there's a promise waiting on us in heaven that Jesus has a place prepared for us. But here on earth, there's a promise. We will live to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I'm going to live to see it. I'm going to live to see it. I ain't worked this hard just to die. God said, I'm going to live to see it. I'm going to live to see what I've been working hard for. He said, everything that you went through up until now, there's a reason. And you're about to see it. You're about to see it. Everything is about to start making sense. Everything is about to start making sense. You didn't go through all that for nothing. You weren't in the wilderness all that time for nothing. It's the new generation. God always have me speaking about the new generation. God said, because you're the chosen ones. You're the ones who I've called to do it. Your ancestors didn't make it, but God said, you're the chosen one. You're the chosen one, baby. All right, guys. So I'm gonna start back reading at I guess verse 7. And the Lord said to Joshua, "This day I will begin to exalt you in the sight of Israel." I'm gonna skip down to verse 8. You shall command the priests who bear the ark of the covenant, saying, "When you come to the edge of the water of the Jordan." When you come to the edge of the water of the Jordan, remember the Jordan River is what is separating us from everything that God promised us. God is about to show out, y'all. I just hope y'all is willing to watch the whole video because God is about to show out. Let me tell you what God is about to do for his children. When you come to the edge of the waters of the Jordan, you shall stand in the Jordan. God said, I want you to stand up in that thing that's separating you from everything that I have for you. Don't be scared. I know it might look like you're going to drown, but God said, stand up in it, stand up in it, stand up in it. So Joshua said to the children of Israel, come here and hear what the Lord is saying. And it says that by this you shall know that the living God is among you. So God is about to show you. God is about, see, it says in verse 5, Joshua said that get ready because the Lord is about to do wonders among you. God is about to work some things out that looks impossible, that thing that's separating you from the promised land. God said, I'm about to make you stand up in it. Stand up in that thing. Chapter 9. Joshua said to all the children, come here and hear what the Lord is saying. And it says that I'm gonna skip down. It says that so you will know that I am with you, and that he will without fail drive out all the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Perizzites. These are the giants. These are the people who are already there on the land, right? So God said, I'm about to show you that I am with you in the place that I'm going. And verse 11, y'all, and I'm going to close with this. It says, behold, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth is crossing over before you into the Jordan. So I just want somebody to know that the thing that separated you from everything that God promised you, your promised land, that place flowing with milk and honey. God said he's going ahead of you in it. He's going to stand up with you in the impossible. And then when God stood up in it with them, and it says, this is what I want to get to. I'm going to start reading at verse 12, no, verse 13. And it shall come to pass as soon as the soles of the feet of the priests who are carrying the presence of God shall rest in the waters of the Jordan, that the waters of the Jordan shall be cut off, the waters that come down from upstream, and they shall stand in a heap. So God is going to cut off that thing that's standing in your way, that's keeping you from the promised land, from everything that God has for you. Don't be scared. We are the chosen generation. I don't know what it is that God is calling you to do right now, but God said his presence is going ahead of you. He chose you for a time such as this. He chose you to go into the promised land. God said he gonna make that thing that's in your way stand up and move. You're gonna cross over on dry land. You're gonna cross over on dry land. Trust God. Trust God. In chapter 4, it talks about I'm gonna read to you chapter 4, verse 4. Then Joshua called the 12 men whom he had appointed the children of Israel, one man from every tribe, cross over before the ark of the Lord your God into the midst of the Jordan, and each of you take up a stone on his shoulder take up a stone on his shoulder, that this may be a sign among you when your children ask in the time to come. So God was telling them, to pick up a stone and put it on your shoulder, and go into the middle of the Jordan. I want you to stand up in that thing that looks impossible. And he said, sit that stone down. So when your children come, God said that, see, the pressure that you're feeling and the weight that you're feeling is you crossing over with this stone on your shoulder. And the stone is the thing that your children gonna look back on and be like, Mom, Daddy, what that is, what them stones is. And you're gonna be able to tell them, hey, this is when God went ahead of us. This is when the presence of God went ahead of us in the impossible and in the unknown. And he split it, the Jordan, and we crossed over on dry land. This is when God did the impossible. See, the thing that we're doing is just not about us. It's about the generation that's to come. So my children and your children would know God. God said, I'm about to make myself known. See, there's a weight that comes with being used by God. There's a weight that comes with being chosen by God. We have to, there's some things that we're carrying. I'm carrying a stone on my shoulder and I'm crossing over. I'm going through something that looks impossible. But can I tell you that I'm not just doing it for me, I'm doing it for the generation that's to come. I'm doing it for the generation that's to come. It says, cross over before the ark of the Lord and go into the midst of the Jordan and take up a stone on your shoulder. And then it says that so that this may be a sign when your children ask in time to come, what do these stones mean? What do these stones mean? And I'm going to close right here. I just want you to know that the weight and the pressure is not for no reason. It's because you're carrying something, you're doing something that's going to be remembered for generations. The Bible says that those stones are still there. This word blessed me, right? Because I was feeling pressure in my spirit, but it blessed me that God is able to tell me exactly what's going on, right? Even though we're not in the wilderness physically, but spiritually we're going through, we're coming out, we're going through the Jordan River, we're traveling through the thing that looks impossible. Pass your test, sis. Pass your test, brother. It's heavy. You carrying the stone. But can I tell you, do it for your children. Do it for the people that are coming after you. Don't be like your ancestors and be scared to go up and do what God is telling you to do. I ain't scared. I ain't scared. God said, I chose you because you ain't scared. I don't care. Listen, I don't care what nobody think. Because when I get in my promised land, drinking my milk and honey, child, don't be mad at me because I told you to get ready. Get ready. I want you to get ready right now. So when the presence of God start moving, listen, you ain't even got to go pack your stuff. You going to already be ready. I love y'all so much. I pray that this word bless y'all. And I just want you to know that now is your time. Now is your time. Now is the time for us to stand up. The children of God, the new generation. I love y'all. Have a great day.